Hi, I'm Andrew Seal, CEO of Together, and welcome to the second in our new 15-minute masterclass series on employee advocacy. It's designed to be bite-sized because we know how busy everyone is out there all the time. So today I'm talking about how to find your best employee advocates. The first thing I'd say is what not to do. Whatever you do, don't try to find your best advocates by trying to motivate employees to join your program, offering promises of incentives and rewards or gift cards and prizes. Now, employee advocacy, which, as many of you will know, it is empowering your team to share their voice on social, is one of the best ways to humanize your brand or employer brand. Ogilvy said this year it was the number one influencer trend you should care about in 2024. But please stop trying to motivate employees to sign up. Now, over 10 years ago, I was at an investor event pitching to raise money for my new employee advocacy platform. Now, it was my first time pitching, so I breathed a sigh of relief when I managed to get through my presentation without messing up at all. However, when it came to questions, things took a turn for the worse. One of the potential investors in the crowd put his hand up, and he kind of leant back in his chair and with a smirk on his face, he said dismissively, "Why on earth would anyone do this? Why would an employee want to talk about their work on their personal social media?" There was a ripple of laughter around the room. I felt my face starting to burn. I wanted to say, "You just don't know what you're talking about." But I nervously muttered that the platform had a number of features to motivate employees to share and keep sharing, try not to sound too defensive. But the damage was done. He'd seeded a doubt in the minds of the other investors. It was going to be impossible for me to recover this time. I was furious coming out of that meeting that I hadn't preempted this question and responded better. But why was I feeling so annoyed? On reflection, I had to admit there was an element of truth in what he was saying. And since then, as I've helped many major brands launch employee advocacy programs, I've seen the same fear come up again and again. How will we get employees on board? How do we motivate them to keep sharing? The investor was just saying what many people are actually thinking. But this is where I found brands often make their first big mistake with employee advocacy. They decide the answer is to incentivize, to motivate employees to join and to share using rewards. And back in 2014, we were making much the same mistake. In this first iteration of our platform that was pitching to investors, we assumed that people would be motivated to do it and to join through rewards or prizes. So we developed a simple motivation engine where they shared content, earned points, and they could convert these into prizes. It was great. It worked really well, except that when the prizes ran out, the sharing stopped. And we looked at what people were sharing. Quality certainly wasn't what we were getting. Instead, people were gaming the system, setting up false accounts, oversharing, sharing the same thing. These definitely weren't our best advocates. Now, this was early days when we did this, but most current employee advocacy programs still look to grow results and encourage people to sign up through an updated version of the same thing, using leaderboards, points, rewards to motivate employees. Now, I'm not saying you should never give rewards. We all like to be recognized, and a nice gift card certainly doesn't go amiss once in a while. But in general, it's not the right approach, and research backs this up. BJ Fogg, who is a professor of behaviour design at Stamford, and he's also the author of Tiny Habits, said you shouldn't spend too much time trying to motivate people who aren't already motivated. Now, this is the key point: those who aren't already motivated. Because to put simply, trying to change someone's motivation is really, really hard. Now, in every employee advocacy program we've helped launch, existing motivation is roughly broken down into 4 groups. So let's look at this on a motivation scale from low to high. Just make that a bit bigger for you. So at the high end of the scale, you typically have highly motivated employees who are more than likely already active on LinkedIn and sharing on social professionally. They're already out there doing that, and that's absolutely fantastic. Right at the other end of the scale, the low end, you'll have employees who they're never ever going to take part. They're just not interested in this as an idea. It's just not for them. And then in the middle, you've got two sets of people straddling the center line. Just below there, there'll be people they're interested in the idea. They're hearing what you're saying. They just can't see enough value in it to really get involved on a regular basis or put the effort in, or they can't see they'll have the time to do this. And then just above, you'll have the people they're keen to join. They perhaps want to be more visible at work, but it's still outside their current experience or comfort zone. There are some barriers there which are stopping them get moving, moving into that group of the higher motivated. So you've got two groups out of these four who are your best possible advocates. Firstly, the group of people who are already motivated, they're already posting. So they sound the perfect people to be in your program. But you do need to tread carefully when you invite them to join a program. Some may bristle at the idea of having to join a formal program, which they may perceive will restrict them in some way, particularly if you're asking them to start sharing via an employee advocacy platform, for example. You may be using this to capture data and to streamline things. So you need to be clear on the benefits to them, why they should change their sharing behavior. When we've worked with companies in this position before, what we've done is we've developed a specific support program for this group, the kind of more power sharers group. And this is, it's varied what this has consisted of. But for example, we've done things like having specific enhanced benefits, such as an exclusive coach for this group. We've given specific time for them in their working day for them to create content. So they're allowed time to do this, spend time on this. And also things like having a budget for additional resources, such as photography or graphics or even research, can really help because it's of high value because of the influence they're likely to be achieving for you, for the brand. But then you've got this whole second group of people who are here ready to get on board, but they've still got these barriers in the way. Now, this is the group who you need to really target. They're the ones who are most likely to join and grow within your program. So not necessarily already sharing, but they're the ones who've got the biggest potential. So we call them motivated to impress. And these are the people they're keen to be visible. They are passionate about their expertise, what they've got to say, what they do. They really, really want to talk about it. Perhaps they're, ambitious in the company. They want to grow and get promoted, or perhaps they're new and they want to be seen. But either way, they all want to be seen to be going that extra mile. So you need to get clarity on these needs, what they are, and really put what's in it for this group, what's in it for them at the heart of your employee advocacy recruitment strategy. So, these could be things like, offering better visibility within the company. It's helping them build their professional network, helping them be on the front foot in their career, and of course, personal and professional development. Learning these new high value skills, and keeping up with industry trends is again of huge value. So these are all benefits, things that are in it for them when you're considering this group. So yes, put this messaging at the forefront of your recruitment because it will draw this group out. So what your recruitment strategy may vary, but whether you're perhaps running, say, learning lunches, or you're having managers handpick participants, seeing who's in their team might be suitable, or there's lots of different ways. Using these factors to try and identify this particular group is really going to help you. because you don't really need to spend effort trying to bring on board the other two groups. Those who are, at the bottom end, the ones who are just not interested, and also this group that, have heard you but just can't really see the value. If you spend time on them, you're really wasting that time. It's not really going to deliver an awful lot for you. So those are the two groups you need to focus on. And the final thing you need to think about, if you can't easily change motivation the way that BJ Fogg talks about, how can you help this motivated to impress group overcome the barriers to actually get started? What's going to bring them in and get them moving? What can we do? Well, BJ Fogg said there's one thing you can change, and that's the thing you must always do. You need to make it easy. So we're going to be exploring how to make it easy in the next masterclass, which is next week, same time. But that's it for this week. Thank you all for listening and have the great rest of your day.